Hey everybody, welcome to that 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is episode 223. Yeah, I just wanted to, tell everybody, thank y'all for supporting me and everything like that. I see I got a whole bunch of new people, man. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? What's good? What's good? But yeah, usually I do this platform off my Facebook page, but tonight I'm going to do it off here, and just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in for last night's episode. But yeah, I've been waiting for this all day. I got a real cool cat coming on the show, and I'm like one of his biggest fans and everything, and I respect what he does, and I just had to reach out to him and just let him know that I appreciate his hard work, and me being a content creator myself, I know it ain't easy. So I wanted to just get him on here so we can, chop it up, do some laughs, but also get to know him. Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't really take the time out to get to know these YouTubers. So we had to, drop it. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, see if you can add yourself. See if you can add yourself, Scott. I can add you in. Okay. I'm about to add him in here. Hey, man.
What's going on, Will? How are you, man?
Man, I am good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Just getting some light going here. I'm not in the usual room I do this from. There we go. Should be okay. Let me see here. Where's my oh, I like this one. Love this. There's one film. That one's okay. There was one I really like. It gets good lighting, but that's not good. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if any sparkles around me.
Oh.
That's so
I feel
fun.
you, man.
Oh, is it this one? No, this one looks like I'm washed out. I don't. I love these filters, man. They're so crazy.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I love them, but they're none that are actually working right. Whoops, vintage love. Oh wow. I guess I. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. I'll go back to the regular one.
Hey, it's all good, man. You're the guest, so it's all good. I ain't sweating it.
That's funny. Nope. I like that sparkly one. Actually, no, that's it. Oh, little stardust. No, I'll just go with no filter. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm
Good.
I'm just excited, man. I'm like one of your biggest fans.
Oh wow, thank you. That's awesome.
Man, no problem, man. And again, I appreciate the opportunity, man,
Well, of course.
cause me, I pretty much like just started my platform and everything, and so I stumbled across yours and just admire just your content and just the risk taker that you are.
In what terms? In what respects?
Oh man, I'm scared of cemeteries, man. So,
Oh, really?
whew, yeah.
I have a really close friend of mine that's around my age, and I took him to a cemetery in the States last no, September or August, and he had never been in one in his life, and he was petrified. And I was like, never been in one. Like, how is that possible? And he's just avoided funerals and never been in one. So there's lots of people that are afraid of them.
Yeah, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, yeah, I guess I can see it, but I if somebody I drove by a couple of cemeteries the other night, like smaller cemeteries outside of Toronto, and I was thinking to myself, if somebody offered me the chance to sleep in a cemetery, because I would get asked that all the time online, like, would you stay in a cemetery, go to a cemetery at night? I'm like, I'll sleep right on the ground. But if somebody offered me a nice cot in a tent, I could sleep in a cemetery overnight. I wouldn't be scared. They don't freak me out.
Oh man. I mean, I wish I had your bravery, man, because I can't do it. Yeah, whew, that's like one of my phobias right there. Just anything like that. But um, again, you are like a brave guy, because I don't know. I be needing to like at least be a company and a few people before I go in one. So I just like, man, this is a brave guy, because I saw that one episode you had visited Elvis grave, and it was like dark and it was cold, and you was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
actually, that one that was what was that? That was November or December of last year, roughly. So it's Memphis, so it's warm in the day, but the temperature drops. And
Hmm.
I had already been out there a couple of days before, and I couldn't figure out how to get into that mausoleum. And it was during the day, and then I was doing something at an Elvis museum 2 days later, and one of the guys said, "Oh, you could probably go around back. The back door should be open." And it was like 10 to 5, and I was like 10 minutes away, and they closed at 5. So I drove really fast to get there, and I realized nobody's there. Nobody's coming to close those big gates. It's a huge cemetery, but in retrospect, because it got pitch black when I was in there, and when I came out, it was so dark. And that area of Memphis is not particularly safe, I would say. I've been told, and now that I think about it, like there could have been anybody in there. There could have been people like squatting, living. I mean, it's not a well taken care of mausoleum. So when I think back about that video, I'm like, probably should have gone during the day, not when it gets dark. It was daylight when I went in, but it was dark when I came out, and it was kind of creepy.
Oh yeah, I could tell just from that watching the episode, because I was afraid for you, man. I was like, I hope he gets out fine, but
I know.
I was just
Well, as
like,
long as if you see the video uploaded, you can always know that I got out okay.
yeah.
That's the way. Like when the viewer sees the video, when I go to some crazy places, then well, he got out okay. So I can tell you, there's some crazy stuff coming up on my channel, and places that I went to on this last trip and on the one before, and I still don't put them up yet. But I'm alive. I made it out,
Man, that's
so you'll
that's
see
that's
those soon.
good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wonder, out of all the places you have visit and stumble upon, like what was your favorite one, and which one had like resonated with you?
There's been quite a few. There's been quite a few. I love Athens, Georgia, um,
Hmm.
for the history of one of my favorite bands, REM, and I just grew to love the town. It's now that I've been there a few times, and the last 2 times I was there, the traffic was a lot better than the first time I was there. I mean, it's a city, but it's not huge. And I know I figured out the city's got a weird layout, so I love Athens. But then there's other. I mean, Detroit holds a special place in my heart. As soon as I cross the border into Detroit, I feel like I know a lot of people there. I know the city well. I know the history of it. I feel like it feels like another home to me. Same with LA. When I'm going to LA next week, and it's like going. It's not like going to somewhere far away now. It's not like going weird. Like I love LA, so it's like going to a place I know really well. Then I love small towns in the South. I'm happy. Take me to Mobile, Alabama. Take me to Shreveport, Louisiana. I'll find something to film, and they're just quiet. Like and even smaller towns than that. I love them.
Okay, cool, man. And I saw that one that you did with Eminem,
which
and you
I've
was
done it.
able to. Well, it was one that you got the chance to see his job application. That was dope.
Oh, oh yeah. One second, my Google went off. Okay, Google, stop. Shut up. No. How do you tell? You sing that you got it to come on. That was so weird. Yeah, that was at Gilbert's Lodge over on St. Clair Shores in Michigan. So in like off like a suburb of Detroit. I call it Detroit, but it's St. Clair Shores, but same thing. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it took me about 2 or 3 times. I went and ate there, then I went back, and then they were waiting for a manager or whatever. And then finally I was there one morning. I said, I gotta go. Like, I can't keep waiting around. Like, I wasn't rude, or I'm never rude. I was like, I can't keep waiting around. And they were all of a sudden they were like, oh, okay. So then they started showing me all the stuff and introduced me to somebody who worked with them. And then I was supposed to go into the kitchen and go behind the line where he worked and see his workstation where he used to work. But they were really busy. So they were like, sorry, I can't take you back there right now. And I was like, oh, well. But yeah, that was pretty wild. Seeing his own handwriting and seeing his, and they left it with me. They left me in that big part of the restaurant that was not open. I was like, I could walk out right now, and this would be a pretty good souvenir. But I'm not like that. It was pretty awesome though.
Yeah, that's dope because I pretty much used to stay in Detroit and everything. So
Oh really?
I knew exactly, yeah. Well, I stayed on the east side, but I knew exactly where you was at. So I was
Oh
like, yeah,
cool.
that's what's up.
Where on the east? Where on the east side were you?
Oh, I was in 6 Mile. I used to stay off Mitchell and Victoria.
Yeah, I know the area. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, man, Detroit's just an awesome city. It's just got a vibe to it that people say crap about it a lot, and I'm always like, in every video I do about it, I talk about the beauty of it and how great the people are, and it's suffered so much with the
Mhm.
car industry crash and all that, and it's slowly getting back to what it used to be slowly. But I mean, I've been going back and forth to Detroit now for about 10 years, and I still see some of the same burned out buildings haven't moved. Some of the bigger ones off the interstate, I'm like, wow, these are still here. But they're tearing down a lot of small ones. So that's good, leaving open lots, and hopefully they can keep rebuilding. I love that city.
Oh, me too, man. I pretty much go back and forth because my sister and her kids still lives there. So I'm like 3 hours away in Saginaw, Michigan. So, and I just enjoyed there because it taught me a lot. It made me humble.
Right.
And I just always tell people like traveling, it just really helps you pretty much brings you character because
Yeah.
it's just something that just money can't buy.
Yeah. Well, you get to meet and other people. You get to see. Um, somebody's sending me messages. They're watching it right now. You get to see so many different ways of life, and you get to see how I drive around when I'm in LA. I'll drive around Beverly Hills and the Hollywood Hills, and then I'll go outside of a place like Mobile, Alabama, and two completely different types of lives. But everybody everywhere I go, people are the same. Everybody's I've yet to meet anybody that I really didn't like or wasn't nice to me, and small towns are just amazing. And I mean, in a big city like LA and New York City, I've met some amazing people. And everybody's really nice. I think uh, once you tell them you're filming a video for YouTube, it can go either way. Some people are like, nah, I don't want anything to do with this. But other time, people are just interested in that. So maybe that's why they're nice. But I love all those towns.
Yeah, so I wanted to pretty much figure out like what was you doing like in your former life before you became a YouTuber?
Well, I was an actor for a long time, and I took filmmaking in university. So I was doing that for a long time, and that's a tough gig. Uh, Auditioning all the time, stuff like that. And I'm definitely not a good auditioner. I don't like the process of auditioning. they give you 2 or 3 sides of a script, and then you have to, at the place, then you got to all of a sudden be able to come up with a character, and it's not the way things should be done. You should get it a week in advance and work on a character. So I hated that part, but I still loved entertaining, being in front of the camera. I liked being behind the camera a little bit, but I was more about being in front of the camera. And then uh, I would I was doing like restaurant jobs. I did so many different jobs, so many different jobs. But then I wound up in a restaurant job, and then both my parents got sick, so I kind of gave up on the acting stuff and didn't really concentrate on it because I didn't have time. And then once my friend finally said, "You're coming to LA. You're coming to LA," and I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll go to LA," because I always wanted to go, but I didn't think it was really possible. Then I was there, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." So we went back a second time, and then I kept going back by myself because my friend was like, "Well, I gotta work all the time." And I was like, "Well, I want to go back." And then I started traveling by myself to go see friends in various states, and I was making videos. Like I have big photo albums here of pictures and stuff from like the '90s, and I would go to famous places, pop culture places. So I've been doing that part all my life. But in the past, before YouTube, I was going on these road trips by myself to see friends, or even road trips with friends, and I would stop at weird places and make little videos. So I would be talking on them. And then one time I was like, why don't I put this on YouTube? What am I like? I know people do stuff like that. I honestly didn't, I thought YouTube only had music videos and Saturday Night Live clips. I didn't know people had channels, really. I
Yeah.
knew Adam the Woo, but I saw his website somehow, and then I guess it connected to YouTube, but I didn't click on any other like videos like say, oh, you might like this. I had no clue that there was like people had channels. Like 6 years ago I didn't know. And then I figured it out. I was like, I could put this on YouTube. And then I saved up money because I knew I had to travel for a bit. I started working hard on ideas. And then I did my first video in Florida, and I waited about 8 months to upload it. And then I was in LA, and I started doing a whole bunch of videos. Some of them, you get that first comment on a YouTube. You see your subscriber count go from 0 to 10 people, 12 people,
Hmm.
and they're not your friends or family. They're complete strangers. It gets addictive. You're like, oh, wow. And then somebody who you've never met in your life writes on your channel, great video or whatever, or bad video or whatever they write.
Yeah.
Still, it's kind of cool. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, and then I kept putting up. But then when I was back about a month after at that first LA filming trip, that's when I realized I was like, oh, shit, I'm out of videos. That means I have to go back on the road because I didn't think about that part of it. I didn't think that far ahead. I didn't think I was like, oh, I got to keep uploading, but I can't. But for me to go to the place I want to go to, I have to like take off 2 or 3 weeks from work. And luckily, the people that I work for were very helpful. And then I really got into it 4 years ago. And yeah, that's it.
Man, that's dope because I only pretty much have my channel active for like a year and a half, but I have at least 223 episodes. So I
Nice.
just, thank you.
Wow, that's a lot,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you, man. I'm trying, bro. Like, but you're right though. It's really addicting. And then
Yeah,
just knowing that total strangers is just coming back and just giving you nothing but love, and
yeah.
sometimes hate, but the love
Oh
and
yeah,
just the objective. It just keeps you going and keep you motivated, and just you really want to please your audience. And I
yeah,
get it, just the content alone, just and then people get to figure you out as well. And I just really caught on to you, man. It was just like, because I will watch you. Well, when I first started watching you, I would watch like a couple videos, and then when I saw that you did celebrity graves too, so it was
hmm
like a lot of people. Well, I know I'm not the only one, but a lot of us wonder where these people buried at and like what happened to them. So you
Right.
also pretty much give a story because we all have a story. So
Right.
it just was really like capturing, and I was like, man, I gotta
Right.
meet this guy.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's you because it's still. I mean, it's still. It frustrates me a little bit when I read comments of like if there's about people about celebrities when I visit their graves. That what I'm trying to get across is they're regular people. They're
Hmm.
real, you know, flesh and bone, and like they're real people. And just because they're celebrity doesn't mean that they're uh, weird or crazy or untouchable. Some of them have real stories. They have kids, they have wives, they have parents, and I like to bring that human aspect out to about celebrities because I love celebrities. I love pop culture, and so when I go to a grave, I want to make sure that I get across the story of the person that I'm there to visit. And I didn't realize that when I first started going to graves, that so many people would connect to it by saying what you just said, like, where are these, whatever happened to that person? Or where are they buried? And how did they die? And that sort of thing. And then I started getting a lot of that, like, oh, thank you. I forgot about this person, or I really want to know. And I was like, oh, I thought everybody would just kind of know. They would just Google it themselves if they want to know. But I go to a grave, and lots of times it's people that they haven't thought of in a few years
Hmm.
or forgot about. That happens to celebrities, and then people like hopefully like the video. And yeah, I really like to make it about the human side. And it's interesting to see the grave sites, the grave stones, the headstones. And yeah, I spend a lot of time in cemeteries. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. And the one that really got to me was one of the dudes from Crisscross.
Mm,
Um I loved when you had picked something up and then you placed it right back together and then you
yeah,
put like a pebble on top of the
yeah,
that
yeah.
was that's love, man. And
Yeah, that's. I mean, there. Well, I always try to clean up a grave when I'm there. Like people say, why don't you bring a like a push broom and a thing? I'm like, well, like they cemeteries have maintenance crews, so I'm not there to completely and family members that go to these graves. But I'm always going to clean off the grave and fix something if it's fallen because I hate to see that. And I always leave a rock. And I remember when I did Chris Kelly's grave that day, um, when I got to his grave and I got out of my car, I went for my bag of rocks and I was like, oh shoot, like I had like none left because I had been doing so many graves. And
hmm
I like to bring a fair size rock, like maybe my hand size, and a little smaller, like in the palm of my hand. And it was a smaller rock, but I was like, well, it's still a rock. But Chris Kelly meant a lot to me. I was so into hip hop when I was a kid, so into rap and hip hop. So especially around that time, like Black Sheep and Crisscross and Run DMC. Well, the before that, but I'm talking early '90s. Vanilla Ice, Crisscross, Black Sheep. So many that I loved, and I still listened to Crisscross when Crisscross wasn't cool. Like with their Young, Rich, and Dangerous album, I loved it. I was listening to it all the time, and I was heartbroken when he died. I was heartbroken, and I did that video. I wanted to see the house where it happened, and normally one of my rules is I try not to put 911 calls ever in a
hmm
video because that is the 911 call. The person making the call, it's usually the worst day of their life to make
right.
that phone call about a loved one that's dying, especially for the loved one that is dying, it's their worst day. But this 911 call, I don't know who that person was on the phone, and they were all, I don't want to say for sure, but they sounded like they were there partying with him and a little out of it. So I want to give
Yeah.
that kind of context. It wasn't like his mom was calling or one of his best friends or girlfriend. I don't know who this person was, but they sounded out of it. So I put that in just to kind of show that the end of his life seemed chaotic. The last night.
hmm
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he was only 34.
34, and if you see that So Def 20th anniversary concert when him and Chris Smith performed, when Chris Cross performed, only a
Right.
few months before that, they were on fire. I don't know if it's a 12-minute clip of them. They did, I think they did All Right. No, they
Hmm.
did Warm It Up, Chris, I Missed the Bus, and Jump, I believe. I think it was 3 songs. Maybe they
Hmm.
did All Right as well. But my God, they are so full of energy. Like, I was just like, this is, I remember watching it way back then and thinking it was awesome. And it's too bad. I think they could have made. Honestly, I think they could have made a comeback.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's crazy. Because I'm 34 now, so it's just amazing how many people I outlive too,
Right?
and just what people don't understand is that um, time tricks us all, because we think we
Yeah.
have all this time, but really
You
we don't.
you said it, man. You said it. Well, we time tricks us all, and we don't. I mean, hopefully we all do. Hopefully everybody we know lives through a long life, but you never know. So, like see doing the grave of someone who's 34. That to me is just sad and tragic. And then even I just did Gregory Jacobs, Shock G from Digital Underground, which was a big
Yeah,
90s hip hop collective. And I was just like, he's only 57. And for me, 57 isn't old. If for a lot of my viewers in their 40s, 57 is not old. You know what I mean?
no,
That's a young age to die. And sure, I mean, some people have been saying, well, it's a drug overdose, but we don't know the reasons why he was taking drugs. Not everybody takes drugs just to get high, just to get happy. Some of them are self-medicating if it's street drugs. So it was another tragic story. There were, I've it's rare that I've done a video. I've done a couple where people live to like 80 or 90, like in my Forest Lawn videos, Hollywood Forever. But a lot of times the people who have died young.
yeah, and it's just really personal to me because I lost a older brother to substance abuse as well, and he was only
On
40, and it just really kind of, put me back to when it first happened, and then also just a lot of people don't understand the dynamic of watching a parent bury their child as
oh
well.
gosh, oh I'm so sorry.
So
I can only imagine. I mean, yeah, that's no parent should ever have to do that. No, and no, I mean, he's your older brother, but that should be in your 70s, 80s, 90s. You know what I mean? It
right,
shouldn't be at that age. It should not be at that age. But people don't like that's something I've spoken out. I used to just kind of mention it in passing in my videos about uh, addiction, about it being a disease and don't judge people. But now I pretty much say that right at the beginning of each video. I make sure to, I tell people I don't want to read it. I don't want to hear. If you have a different opinion of that, you can keep it to yourself when it comes to that sort of thing because it is an addiction and a disease. And
yeah,
people in, mental health issues lead to drug use. Drug use leads to mental health issues. So, you can't just blame the person. You can't.
yeah. And I
Mm.
learned that too, and because I used to be one of those people because I didn't understand. I just was always, curious about that because that's all I saw in my community and my family members as well. So I just would always just wonder, like, dang, life is that bad and this and that. But um, I would say that taught me a lot just with having empathy, having patience and grace, because
Right.
we really um, say we care, but a lot of people really don't care until it shows up on their doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when the reality kick in, and I was just really out of it for 7 years after that. But
Wow.
I had I was by the grace of God having great friends, mentors.
Yeah.
Um, it just allowed me to pick myself back up and never put myself back in that place again. And that's why I really created this platform to help people. and
Right.
I have done a lot of interviews, and I'm gonna make sure that I send you one. But it was this one episode. Um, this girl for the first time spoke publicly about losing her child, and it was just like the surrealness of it, and because I was just like, you really don't want to, you don't have to tell it unless you don't want to. And
Yeah.
she was like, no, I got to get it out because I need to live again.
Right.
So after the episode, she thanked me so much, and she was just like, you're the only person that really cared instead of trying to be in my business. And I just told her, like, I was there.
Right.
And when you've been there, you don't want anybody else there. So you just try to, pass the torch of healing to a little bit of everybody. But I just understand, just from what I went through and just
Right.
how sacred those final resting places be, um because a lot of people just like to forget about those people, but those
The-
people had lives. These people have people that love them. So, and
yeah.
that's why yeah,
Yeah, no, but like when you're talking about this lady, I want to see that interview. Like when
yeah,
you're
I'm gonna send it
asking,
to you.
yeah, when you're asking her about her child, that's important because if people get so uncomfortable about death, and it is uncomfortable subject. But
Hmm.
if you're a person who lost somebody, you don't want to forget that person. You don't want that person to be forgotten. So it's a good thing to ask her, about it. And if she wants to talk about her child, then she will. And
Hmm.
if somebody's lost them, if they want to talk about them, then they will. Because you can't pretend that, like, if you have a friend whose parent died, or um, a friend whose child died, a friend whose sister died, you can't ignore the fact that they had this person in their lives. Ask them how
Right.
they're doing. Ask them,
Yeah.
how they're coping, and ask and share memories of the person that died if you knew them as well. People, I find it unbelievable sometimes that people tiptoe around the subject, and it's like, well, like, this person existed. Let's not forget them. And you mentioned empathy, and that's another thing that I'm big on because I'm flabbergasted sometimes. Like, whatever happened to empathy? If I put a video up about somebody that died, and then somebody writes, "Oh, another junkie," or "Oh, suicide doesn't count," if it's somebody who killed himself, I'm like, why write that? Why would you even bother writing? Like, why can't I don't get it. Like, I'm just like, why don't you just have empathy for the person and leave it at that? But some people just don't. The majority do, but some people don't, and it's weird to me.
Oh, absolutely. And I just like every time I go on here, I just try to tell people, like, depression is real and it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people have, um, well, they won't say cause of death on your autopsy is depression, but it's a
It,
Kickstarter.
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, of
So,
course. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. Really, for a lot of these people, that's what the cause of death is. It's depression. You're right. They can't.
hmm.
They're not going to put that as it, but that really is the cause. I mean, and mental illness is such a. I mean, thankfully, it's talked about a lot more these days. But it's still kind of a taboo subject for people, and you know. When somebody's battling mental illness in any sense, they not some people post about it, which is fine, but family members don't post about if somebody in their family is suffering from mental illness. They'll post if somebody's suffering from cancer, or a stroke or whatever, and the community rallies around, neighbors rally around, but when it's mental illness, nobody's bringing a casserole over to the house, and
No,
kind of should be because they're sick.
yeah, and I'm just was really grateful for just my best friends. I talk to him every day. It's crazy because I never met him, but his name Tony, and I was telling him about this interview tonight and everything. And he was like, "Man, you better shout me out, man." But
What up, Tony?
yeah, Well, yeah, he was such a big help because
That's
I would
good.
say, but I would say like a year or 2 years after my brother's demise, he lost his mother. So we just have this bond. So we
Right.
both helped each other out, and everybody else who see the heal version of myself, they just be amazed because they like, man, you just so silly, you so strong, you just a outgoing person. Like I just couldn't imagine you being just broken or defeated, but I just
Mm.
never like be ashamed about it because it made me who I am today,
Yeah.
and just with everything, just adversity and tragedies, and it just what makes you who you are today because a good perfect life is a boring life. So you
Right.
gotta be able to um be vulnerable because that's how you get people to trust you and get
Right.
people to see you for who you really are. But
It's good. He sounds like a good friend. Where does he live?
oh, he lives in Detroit too.
Oh, he lives in Detroit. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's hard worker, and he always keeps me on my toes, and those are the type of people that um you keep, you know, near to you because
Sure.
I
Ah,
just
you
love
need that.
to,
Yeah, you
yeah.
need that. You need a person like that or people like that. And hopefully people have someone like that in their lives or have multiple for sure. Yeah. It's a good friend. Good friend.
Yeah, I was just wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
um, because I know you press for time and everything like that.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so who keeps you motivated when you taking those trips and everything like that, and just like what's um keep you at peace doing all of that? Because I know like deep down it takes a lot of just mental discipline.
Yeah. I mean, it's I realized that I have a little dog. I have a dog, Slim Shady is his name. He's
Mhm.
over sleeping over here. But
Yeah.
he like I go on these long trips and I miss him so much. I want to get home to see him. But I I've now realized when I'm home, like I have all this time because I do it full time. So I have all this time to edit. And I'm good at uploading every other day or every, you know, I keep it regular. But I have noticed lately that although I hate staying in hotels, I hate the long distance driving. I don't like it as much as I used to. I do miss the fact of every day getting up and it's a different day. Every day is an adventure. Like that's, where am I going today? What am I doing? Especially if I'm well rested. If I'm not well rested, I can be a little like, oh God, got to get through this. But I just kind of think, I did a record number of trips for a record length last year once the border was back open in April of last year, and I just kept going all year, going back and forth and doing it. And I just kind of I give little things to like look forward to on each trip. I'll have some like there's everything that I film for one thing is something I want to see. So I'm excited when I get to each location, even if it's a sad location. I'm like, wow, I made it here. I made it here. But then I give myself little like things that I want to see this as well in the city, or I want to do this, or meet up with this person, a friend, or a fellow YouTuber, and I just kind of put my head down and barrel through and get through it. Like the last trip I just got back from was 9 weeks, and that's a long time to be on the road. So I was just like
Hmm.
near near the middle of it, I was just like, no, I got to leave. I got to go. I got to turn around, go home. And then I thought, well, I'll go one last place. And then before I knew it, I was like, I'm gonna finish what I planned. All these videos that I planned on filming, and now I'm reaping the benefits of that, of staying. Because some of the videos weren't doing too well while I was down there. But I can't edit big videos when I'm on the road anymore because they take hours, and I'll be up till 4 in the morning editing. Then I got to get up at 8 a.m. to or 9 a.m. to go filming. So I'm now uploading a lot of bigger videos, bigger topics that people are interested in, and show that the views are up, which is great. And I'm going to do the same thing when I go back to LA in a week. I'm going to upload smaller videos every other day. You know, not multiple locations. Just here I am at this studio or this place or this, and then be out filming big videos the whole time. When I get back to Toronto in June, I'll have huge topics and crazy places that I'm going. I've got some big plans. But yeah.
That's dope, man. And I have a request for you. I don't know if you've done it yet, but um, have you been to Lamont Bentley's grave yet?
Lamont Bentley?
Yeah, he was on Moesha.
Did he kill himself?
No, he died in a car accident.
I didn't watch Moesha, but I love Brandy. You know, I
Yeah.
do. I had such a crush on her. Oh my gosh! When her
Me
her
too.
her and Monica, when they did "The Boy Is Mine," remember that? And
Hmm.
the cover of
Yeah.
that CD single. Oh my goodness! And Brandy, I'm sorry. Now I'm getting off track because she was in "I Still Know What You Did Last Summer," and I was just like, she is so beautiful. I love Brandy. I still do, but I'd have to look that up. I'd have to look up
Hmm.
Lamont Bentley. I haven't done it, but I would do it. But does he have a grave, or is he cremated, or?
Um, well, I can find out on right now because that would be a good one because we heard so much. Well, I learned about that one, so I think that would be
Lamont Bentley. He must have been.
that.
He must have been young. He was the brother on the show, wasn't he? Was he?
No, he was her friend.
He was your friend. Okay.
Yeah, and they said that he's buried at Forest Lawn Cemetery, Los Angeles.
What?
Hmm.
Lamont Bentley. Okay, I remember this guy.
Okay.
Now, where is he buried? Let me see.
It
That was
said
just
Forest
after.
Lawn.
I've spent a lot of time there. So he was killed
Hmm.
in on Highway 118. I know where that is. Oh man. Uh, Forest Lawn
Yeah, that
Memorial
would
Park, Hollywood Hills.
yeah, that would be
Isn't that
good.
crazy? I just did a video where I visited over 60 graves in one video, and we did not get to Lamont. I'm gonna take a look right here. I'm gonna take a look here. Where's his Oh, it's sorry. 1 second. Just want to see where he is in the cemetery. How did we miss him? Because I did it with this girl Ashley, and she knew everybody. Okay, I see where he is. He's in the court of remembrance. You know what? I would have walked. I probably walked past his grave 20 times.
Yeah, because he used his middle name, but I guess he had
Artemis Lamont
yeah
Bentley.
Artemis. Yeah, that's probably why you walked past it.
Yeah, only 32.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I will definitely look into that, man. I'll definitely. Oh, he played Tupac in the MC
Yeah.
Hammer story. Wow, I can
Yeah.
see that sort of. Yeah, I can see how he could play Tupac. Huh.
Yeah, yeah, and he was in Tales from the Hood too. He was Crazy K. So,
Oh, he's in Tales from the Hood. I
yeah.
don't remember. That's weird. I don't remember Lamont Bentley. I'm sure probably I've heard of him in passing, but yeah, like I said, I don't remember watching Moesha that much. But I'll definitely take a look. Yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting. That's an interesting story for sure.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, yeah, I'll look into that. Lamont Bentley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would really be a good episode because he meant a lot to us. It's pretty much like as far as like because my sister used to watch it a lot, so that's why and how I knew that he passed because she was heartbroken because she had a big crush on him. So
right.
that's how I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean,
So,
that's a tragic story, and he's so young, and like he's just like gosh, I know exactly. I know exactly where in Simi Valley that is. I just read about where the accident was, so that's not hard. That's not hard to get to at all. But sometimes I wonder if there's a roadside memorial to him. There might be. You know, it happened in 2007, 2005. So it might still be a memorial to him. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, man. I can't wait, because I know, when you organize and when you set it together, like you really go full throttle. So I can't wait to check it out.
Thanks. Yeah, I
So,
try to like I visit the gravesite, but I also like to include maybe their home or their childhood home, or if I have to, like their high school, or sadly the place where the person died. I like to do I like to do more than just go to the gravesite now. Just because there's
mhm.
always more, it's more story to tell. It gives me a lot more work, a lot more driving, but it's to me, it's always worth it, and I think for the viewer, it's a better experience for them, and people seem to appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, going to Shock G
Mm.
hotel room, did you kind of felt like he was still there, or did it have like a presence?
It well, the woman behind the counter who was the one that made she was the one that made the 911 call, but I didn't include that call. But
Okay.
she was the one that I don't think she was the one that found him. Now I spoke to her for a bit. I spoke to another gentleman in the lobby. She made the 911 call, I think, is what she was telling me. But she told me that wing of the motel, it's huge. That motel, it's not like a little tiny. It's not small that I thought it was. I didn't think it was gonna be that big. And then she said, "Oh, it's being demolished and renovated." I was like, "Oh, well, can I go still see the room?" She's like, "There's nothing there." I'm like, "Oh," and she's like, "It's gone." I said, "Well," and I saw while I was waiting for her, I saw down the end where there was yellow tape while construction workers were working, and I could see part of it. But so I said, "Well, can I go see the building?" It's always better to have it. She goes, "There's the building's being torn down. Like there's really nothing to see." I said, "Okay, well, can I go and film that at least?" And she looked at me like I was insane. And she said, "Sure." Like okay. So I went down there and I drove around a couple of times, and it's a seedy little motel. Well, big seedy big motel. And people were outside. They looking at me like, "What is this guy doing?" I'm driving by in a SUV with a Mohawk, tinted windows. I look odd. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, if they see my license plate, it's Canada. So right away, people are all looking like, "What's this dude?" And then I looked up and I was like, "That must be where the room is." I was like, "That's not demolished. That's there." So I parked my car, walked up, and there's the room. You saw if you walk the very beginning of the video, walking up those stairs. My car is like right behind me, so I just walked right up. And then I was like, "Shit!" Kind of like looking around, like, should I go in? I was like, nobody's gonna care if I go in. And I could tell, like I explained in the video, that the room had been divided into two since he had passed. So they were renovating it because a worker came in while I was there and he said, "Oh, sorry," and let me continue filming. And I was in there for such a short period. Long story short, I was in there for only about 3 or 4 minutes. I didn't feel necessarily a presence, but it still feels weird. It feels weird because I've stayed in so many motels and hotels. I know the layout of I can see I could envision how the room looked. The sink was still there, the bathroom. That's original. That's the same one from the room. And where the bed would be right when you come out. So right where I pointed the camera, that's where the bed would have been, where he was found. And then there was, I know from what she told me, there was a sitting area and a couch where the new room is going to be. So where he was found was exactly where the room I was in. And it's humbling and it's sad, and it's just like, wow, like to think that somebody I watched on, just to think that somebody that I watched on TV and listened to so much of the music and danced to their stuff at like school dances was in that room is crazy to me. Like just the fact that they were there. You could tell me, if he hadn't died and you told me, "Shock G, this is the room he likes to stay in," I'd still be fascinated and amazed. I'd be like, "Wow, Shock G was in this room." But then you add on to it the fact that he died in that room is just, that's when it gets sad and humbling, and you feel a little weird. You got to kind of go into cameraman and filmmaker mode and think what, because before I used to rush through some things like that, get the shot and get out, get going, because you don't want to get, you don't have to be told you can't be there or whatever. But now I'm just like, because I always ask permission mostly,
Mhm.
so I like to take my time. So I took my time, got what I wanted, and didn't rush myself. And then afterwards, it kind of hits me. I'm like, but I filmed that video 2 months ago, and I just put it up now. So I was not in a rush to put it up because I knew I had great stuff, but I was working on it every now and again. But I had other stuff I was putting up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just like from when I was watching it, I was like, man, this is the guy that made so many tears, and I get around and
Right?
those classics. Man, it's
That's what I said in the video. Like, people don't realize how, what, I mean, thankfully, I mean, it's getting a good response, the video. There's lots of views. So people are learning more. People didn't know that he was more than just Humpty Hump. The guy was incredible. Some of
yeah,
it I knew. I knew about the Tupac connection. I knew that he was um, classically trained musician, and but some stuff I learned myself, and I was reading about him, about how he trained himself, and the DJ part when he was like 16 on a real radio station. I didn't know that. So there's some parts of his story I was just like, wow, this guy really did it all, and his face is so recognizable, especially in the thumbnail. A lot of
hmm
people will see it and be like, "Oh, that's the guy from Humpty Dance." And then I hope that they listen to what I'm saying in the video, and they realize, and most people seem to, that wow, he was a lot more than just that one funny song, which is actually a really, really, really good hip hop song.
oh, absolutely, classic. And
You know,
it's just
like,
it's crazy because I had no idea he was from New York too.
yeah, he born in the Bronx or Queens or Brooklyn, I forget.
Yeah,
He's born in New York,
Queens. Yeah,
Queens, yeah. Like Humpty
yeah.
Dance is actually a really intricately written song, and he's got such a great flow. He's so gifted. I mean, I know the entire song by heart and backwards. Me and all my friends did when we were little, and I mean, it's dirty, it's funny, and it's actually now 30 years later, it's nothing compared to what so rap is now, what they're saying in rap
No.
songs now. You know, like he says in the '69, my Humpty nose will tickle your rear. That was all to us. We were like, what? Oh my God, what did he just say? And now kids at 10 years old are hearing, or 10, 12, 13, they're hearing a lot worse in songs. So it's
Yeah.
pretty tame, the lyrics from Digital Underground. They were a fun band.
Oh, I agree, man. And it just don't be no originality, no type of timelessness no more. So I always go back to the old stuff, man.
Yeah.
And that just really was a nice video because of just its resting place. Because I liked how you showed like the side of it too,
Oh yeah.
and it was just yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like it was really perfect for him. So
Yeah.
because
I'm glad you like that, because I took a couple of minutes thinking about that shot actually when I was editing. I was like, should I cut out the part where I'm on the opposite side, so explaining about this mausoleum, like these are where the ashes are for people. These are where I was like, no, it's such a cool little, not cool, but interesting little mausoleum because it's so small in this cemetery. That's the only mausoleum there. So I was like, no, I'll leave it in. And then I actually had about probably a good 10 more minutes of footage of me at the grave talking about him, and I was showing different angles of it, and I had all these different plans for stuff. And then I at one point I was rapping the whole song,
hmm
just while I was walking away from my walking away from the grave. Like, I had so many more, but I think it's about 4 minutes in total of footage of his grave, and it's, like, I'm like, well, that's probably enough. You never know. I always think, well, I could just show more and set it to music, but I don't know what, if people would want to see that many minutes of it. But it's a beautiful little cemetery. It's I was not expecting it to be engraved already, like with his name and everything. So I was shocked to see that. And then, yeah, this woman was doing laps. This older lady was doing laps in the cemetery on her. She had a cell phone that she was on speakerphone while she was an older lady, probably in her 60s though. And she kept walking by me, so I had to keep stopping because, I could hear her talking. And then finally she came up to me and she said, "Can I just ask what you're doing here?" She didn't say it like in a Karen way or in a mean way. She was like, she's like, "Can I ask what you're doing here? I don't think I've ever seen you already because there's houses all around." I said, "No, I don't live here." I said, "I'm doing a video on this gentleman." She goes, what do you mean?" She had no clue what I meant. I said, "It's for YouTube." I said, "This is the famous musician." She said, "Who is he?" And I explained to her. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to tell my grandchildren about." And I was thinking to myself, "Yeah, your grandchildren aren't gonna know, lady. They're not gonna know who Gregory Jenkins." But she said, "Oh," and then she took a picture of the of his thing, and she said, "I'm gonna read about him." And I gave her one of my cards for YouTube. So hey, maybe somebody out there just discovered Digital Underground. Just from that. I hope so.
Yeah, he deserved it, man. And I'm just glad that he was very like above because he don't deserve to be in the ground to me.
Yeah,
That's how I feel, like because I just love the design, the inscription,
yeah.
and the music notes too. That was beautiful.
That was really nice too because that goes to that it shows that his family that put it on there, shows that he was a real musician. I mean, the guy could play piano, drums, everything, and also, like I said in the video, I remember growing up, and one of my uncles always telling me that rap music and hip hop music isn't real music, and lo and behold, here we are 30 years later, and it's the most popular form of music in the world, and also it takes just as much talent to make a good rap song as it does to make a rock song. And some people don't see that, but
Oh yeah, it does. I'm a rapper too, so I get it.
yeah, like,
It's
especially when you see a song like when you see "Jump" by Crisscross, you can
hmm
watch on YouTube. I watch all these types of videos. I've been watching them for a while now. Um, how they sample other artists, and then how they take that sample, slow it down, speed it up, put a little reverb on it, whatever, throw a loop, then take this part of a song, this part song, this part, and then layer, and then you have a song like Jump, and then but it's consistent of all these tiny little parts. Like it blows my mind. Like how does somebody even think about that? Like nowadays, kids just get a beat and that's it. They rap to the
yeah.
beat. No, 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 no. Real hip hop is sampling and horns and live
hmm
drums. Come on. We sound like a couple of old heads complaining about hip hop.
I think Instagram about to cut me off, man. I think we've been on here for a long time.
Okay.
But if so, I can just redo this, or if you want, we can do like a part two.
Yeah, let's do a part two. Whenever you can do one. If you want to do it later this week, we'll set it up. I'll just figure out a day that we can do it, and then I'll be down for it. Let's do a
Okay,
part
man,
two.
no problem. No problem. I will definitely keep you posted, man. And thank you for coming, man. You
Of
really
course.
made my night.
You
So,
made my night too, William. Thank you. I hope your viewers like it, and uh, I hope you get lots of subscribers. I hope people who are watching. I'll put a little link to this in my thing, Facebook group, and hopefully people will subscribe to your channel and stuff. But yeah, hit me up this week, and we'll try to work. Because once I get to Los Angeles, I'm pretty much unavailable for 3 weeks because I can't do it on the road because I never know where I'm going to be at a certain time. You know what I
mhm.
mean? It's hard. But yeah, we'll do it before I leave.
Okay, man. And nice meeting you again, Scott, man. You take care of yourself, man. Be
You too,
safe.
William. Thanks, man.
All right,
Peace.
brother. Peace.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.